Donald Trump, get it good. Listen, you ain't invited to the cookout this year. You ain't invited to the NAACP Colored People Cookout because you's a racist. We trying to advance Negroes. We trying to advance colored people, and you're just holding us back. So, no soup, no barbecue for you.
Given the current status of the country right now, I fully support the decision made by the CEO and the board to not invite the current president of the United States. I think the attack on civil rights speaks for itself, so he should not be at the seminal convention on civil rights.
It appears that not all the Negro men is in agreement with Negro leadership and uninviting Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, to the annual cookout.
The most powerful, the most influential member of the GOP since 2015. How does you refusing to invite him, ostracizing him, not wanting to hear what he has to say to you all, how does that help you?
Hello, friend, and welcome to The Conservative Poet. My name is Amania. Here on the channel, we do political reactions, we do a little commentary, some parody to drive home the crazies that we're seeing in the society. If that is something that is interesting to you, then please stick around. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Friend, welcome back to get the truth. Uncensored truth, that is, with a little sass and some humor. And we deliver it all with a smile. Let's get into it, friends. We are talking today plantation politics with colored people and the organization known as the NAACP, and that actually stands for National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That, my friends, is what the NAACP stands for, who's been in business now for about 116 years. I could see maybe they need to, change their name because they are no longer advancing colored people. Because people don't consider themselves colored anymore. They're called blacks now, or minorities, if you will. They're no longer called Negro, and they're no longer called colored people. So NAACP need to see about upgrading their logo and upgrading their mission, because they are definitely not trying to advance colored people. So the NAACP president decided, and their board decided that, well, we don't want the president of these United States of America, the most powerful person in the world, to come to our national association of the advancement of the the colored people convention this year. We're not inviting him. Y'all put that chicken away. We're not inviting him. We save that chicken for Joe Biden. Save that chicken for Kamala Harris. So yes, friends, they said no to Donald Trump. He's not invited. Well, for one, after 115 years of inviting presidents, I wonder, did they invite him when he was first term back in 2016, 2017? Did they invite him then? I'm kind of curious. Does anybody know? Tell me in the comments. Do you know if they did invite President Trump last time he was president? Curious minds wants to know. But friend, with all seriousness, I don't think this is such a big deal. Donald Trump is not crying in his milk over this. Donald Trump is not sitting somewhere boo-hoo whining and crying. No, Orange Man Bad is going to live this up. He's going to be okay. He's right now dealing with big business, the enemies across the pond, NATO. And he's being called the big daddy there. So he doesn't need to actually go to the NAACP chicken dinner convention, which is actually happening as of right now, as I am recording this video. So yeah, President Trump, he ain't missing too much. But they had Joe Biden last time. Can we take a look to see how old Joe did? They kept Joe Biden his chicken dinner. You know what? They probably had to mash it up for him and then feed it to him. He can't eat it on his own. Where was Jill Biden? She was right there spoon feeding it to him. Oh, there goes Joe now.
So many of you had my back, and I think I've had yours as well. And I will never forget it. Got a couple Delaware folks here still. And one of my best friends, when I was a lifeguard in the projects, he was, his nickname is Mouse. Mousy, there you are, pal. End up running longshoreman and loyal as hell. I'm truly honored to be here.
Hey there, Mouse. Mouse, you out there in the audience? Hey, Mouse. Man, you still lifeguarding? Hey there, man. It's me, your old buddy, Joe Biden. Yeah, it's me. It's me, old Joe.
Thank you, everyone who has been supporting the Conservative Poet. I owe you a debt of gratitude. And if you haven't supported the channel, you can do so now. We have new merch that you can purchase, candles, mugs, all kinds of great merch. Please visit theorlandopatriot.com and get yourself 30% off. Thank you so much.
I would like to ask some real questions. Why is the NAA colored people still even a thing in the year of our Lord 2025? NAAC colored people, it may just be time to upgrade your acronym. I mean, we are in the time of artificial intelligence. What else can we need? Where else can Black people go? Where else can colored people go? Colored people, you've had a president, a Black Negro president, a colored president by the name of Barack Hussein Obama. You've had a vice president, well, a female. They call her Black, but she red dot. She Indian, but just the same, she colored, right? She colored, so we're going to stick with it. We've had a colored president. We've had a colored vice president. What else where other advancements do Black people, Negro Amania, colored people Amania, where else do we have to take colored people for their advancement? If we've had a colored president, we've had a female colored vice president. I don't know. These are serious questions. I gotta ask the serious questions because people need to know. How is it that the NAA colored people is still a thing in 2025 in the time of AI? Friends, let us get down to the deeper issue here. Why would the NAA colored people reject the only president who's done a couple of things for the colored population? He passed historical legislation that helped Black men, the First Step Act, criminal justice reform. That was Donald Trump. He helped the Negro, he helped the colored man advance and was able to let and get a lot of Blacks out those same blacks that Joe Biden actually locked up with the help of Kamala Harris, she was the hammer, with the 1994 crime bill. Those were the people. They were locked up under Joe Biden. You know, the same Joe Biden that they had that chicken dinner with the other day. You know, the same Joe Biden they were spoon feeding mashed potatoes and fried chicken. Well, yeah. He authored the 1994 crime bill that locked up a whole bunch of Negro, colored people. But it was Donald Trump who did the First Step Act to fix that problem. But he ain't invited to the cookout. But Donald Trump ain't invited to the cookout, though. But Joe Biden is. Wow. 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 Here's my next thought, my next point, my next question. So it was Donald Trump who pushed for school choice to help those little Negroes, those little colored kids, Amania colored kids in the inner cities. It was Donald Trump that pushed for school choice so that little Jojo and them and little Kwamala and little Kwame and little Talilo could leave those failing schools and go to a better school, go to a Christian school, go to a private school, go to a different school that Democrats are backing the school unions, but Donald Trump says, we don't care about that. We're going to get your kids out of those failing schools. That was in his first term. His second term, right now in 2025, he just closed down the Board of Education, reverting education back to the states, which is really going to help those Negro colored kids in those inner cities, because now they have a more robust handle on the education. That was Donald Trump. While Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrats, they fighting for the teachers unions, not the schools. So why invite old Joe and them when he's not rooting for the Negro kids, the Negro colored children? But Joe Biden is the one who's been invited to the chicken dinner. But Donald Trump was snubbed. So now, here's my third thought. Now, it was Donald Trump in 2016 who said it. We're going to build the wall. Build the wall. Build the wall. Man, I tell you, I love that. Build the wall. Yeah, it was Donald Trump. And when he got into office, it was difficult to build the wall, but he got it done. He figured it out, he maneuvered it, and he built the wall. When Joe Biden ran and supposedly won in 2020, he said, we're not going to build walls. We're going to build bridges. And we're going to invite all the illegals to come. And we're going to bring them all in. And so they did. Millions and millions and millions and millions of them came in. And where do you think they ended up? Where do you think they landed? I think they landed in the the colored people community. They landed in the colored people community. So with millions and millions and millions of illegal landing in the colored people community, what you think that done did to the black Negro man? He ain't getting no job. They take away the food stamps. He can't even get food stamps. They take away his Section 8. They take away all of these things and they give it to who? The illegals. And so that doesn't help the Negro. That doesn't help the colored man. No, that doesn't help. But that's what Joe Biden did. He invited all those people to take over the Negro space, the colored people's space, right? But Joe Biden got invited to the cookout, right? And so now in 2025, Donald Trump got into office, and what he do? He locked up that boy the tightest. He locked it up. Nobody's getting in now. And what's he doing now? He's actually removing some of the illegals. He's removing them out of your communities. He's pulling them out of your sanctuary cities. He's sending them back to Mexico. He's sending them back to Haiti. He's sending them back to Guadalajara. He's sending them back to Venezuela. He's sending them back out of your community. So now the black man, the Negro, actually has the ability to get better wages, better jobs. The rent's gonna go down because you don't have so many people. The marketplace has changed. And who does that help? I think that helps the colored Negro, the black man. But the person who did all of these things for the Negro, for the colored people, for the advancement of the colored people, yeah, he ain't getting invited to the cookout. But that's okay, because you got Joe Biden, because he love you Negroes. He just love you Negroes so much, right? He love y'all. He just love y'all so much. So, Stephen A. Smith, who has always been afraid of losing his barbecue invite, had something to say on this subject. He wanted to plead with the NAACP colored people, Negroes. He wanted to. What does Stephen A. Smith want to do? What does he want to do? I can't think, friends.
You don't get to ignore him is my point. He has been the most powerful, the most influential member of the GOP since 2015. How does you refusing to invite him, ostracizing him, not wanting to hear what he has to say to you all, how does that help you? How? I'm not saying agree with him. I'm not saying side with him. I'm not saying befriend him. I'm not saying any of those things. But ignoring him ain't going to get it done. Not if you truly want to be about the business of helping folks, particularly the desolate and disenfranchised in our country, the urban communities throughout America. Not that that's all the NAACP does, because I'm certainly not implying that. All I'm saying is that clearly is who you're interested in helping. Ignoring him and not even inviting him to come and speak at your convention, what's that going to accomplish? For the first time in a 116-year history, you're not inviting a president. Are you trying to tell me that there's no president that has been as offensive to the NAACP as Donald Trump in 116 years? Are you really making that argument? That no matter what you think about Donald Trump, that's the only person, that's the only president of the United States that you've been able to say that about in a 116-year history of the NAACP. 116 years. Doing the math, that goes back to 1909. Since 1909, there's no president that has ever been more offensive to the NAACP than Donald Trump. Is that your argument? Let's say for the sake of argument that it is for the moment. Other than the progressive left, who's going to definitively agree with your position? You might have folks out there that want to contribute to the causes of the NAACP that are center left and center right. They may not agree with Donald Trump either, but they recognize the importance of being able to work with the President of the United States. Just think about it. I don't think this is the right move. If all of us had to like the people we had to deal with and do business with, how would business ever get done in this country if not this world? It's a rhetorical question, Mr. Derek Johnson. I know you know the answer.
Stephen A. Smith, friends, he brought up some really good points, and he seems to be talking directly to the leader of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. So Stephen A., they don't want to work with the President of the United States, the most powerful leader in the world who could actually do something for their cause, as they say, because their cause is to advance Black people, right? And who better to be able to advance Black people? I mean, we just laid out everything. We just laid out a few things that President Trump has done for the Negro community, right? For the colored people community. And imagine how much more he could do if the NAACP presented themselves to the president and say, here's some things we'd like to do for Black people. Can you help us, President Trump? President Trump would hear exactly what they want to say. Remember Ice Cube and the Platinum Plan? Well, Trump listened to Ice Cube, right? The Democrats told him to go sit down somewhere. We'll talk to you after the election, right? That's what we're seeing. And he says, well, has there never been another president who's offended you? What about LBJ, who's got Black folks hooked on what we would call now the separation of families with the welfare state? They ain't got nothing to... He was invited, I'm sure. He was right there with chicken dinner and all. But Stephen A., you made some good points. You made some really good points. No, they're not interested in working and advancing the Negro, as they say, or the colored people, as they'd like to say. They're not really interested in doing better for Blacks. They are literally the arm of the Democrat Party. That's who they are. They're not interested in helping Black people advance. They should really change their name because they don't live up to it, because they are really just a mouthpiece, just an arm of the Democrat Party. So Stephen A., good try in presenting this to the public, but friend, they ain't gonna listen to you, Stephen A. They ain't listening to you, friend. Friends, I've got a poem for you. Now, I'm going to have to read it off the screen because the girl's memory ain't so good no more. So, here we go. I haven't titled it. I just realized I didn't title it. Tell me in the comments. Give me a title. All right, here we go. Once upon a time, they march for rights with no shoes. Now, they march for party lines in Gucci boots. Colored folks ain't colored no more. But the politics are still Black and Democrat KKK blue. You fight for freedom, but fear the freedom of thought. So you cancel the man, Orange Man, who gave felons a second chance. But Trump don't need your chicken plate dinner or your claps. His legacy will do fine without your colored crap. Well, friends, we've come to the end, and I'm so glad I made this video. I was so happy to make it. I had so much fun making it. And the reason I decided to make it was because I made a short a few days ago, and it really had a good hit. And I thought, you know what? Let's give the people what they want. So I says, let me make a long form, bringing that all together. So I will link that short somewhere so you can take a look at it. It's only a minute long, but people loved it. So go check it out. So that's why I made this long form. So I'm glad I did. And I had so much fun doing it. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I hope you got some laughs out of it. And I hope you got some truths out of it, because we all about the truths up in here, friend. We're going to drop it down. We're going to drop it like it's hot. So anyway, before I go, I want to say thank you to the new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're staying a while. Watch the videos throughout, because it's fun all the way to the end. Take it from my subscribers. They know. So thank you for subscribing. And I want to also let you know, guys, I do have a new book out. It is an ebook, and I'll just go really quickly. It is a guide to understand woke words, because I've been confused about a whole lot of these woke words: cisgender, transgender, pronouns, and so on and so forth. And so if I'm confused, imagine other people. So I wrote a book. It's an ebook. You can download it at understandingwokeness.com. Understandingwokeness.com. Read it. Let me know what you think. It really helps support the channel and the work that I'm doing here. So, once again, understandingwokeness.com. You can download my new book. So, I think that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think about this episode, about this video, about the conversation, about the NAACP. Do you agree with them snubbing President Trump this way? Or do you think, I don't know, whatever your thoughts are, you tell me in the comments. I'll see you there. God bless you and keep you. And man, I tell you, my jaws hurt because I laughed so much in this video. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be doing what I'm doing here on YouTube. So you guys support me, support the channel and what I'm doing, so I can continue to show up and entertain you, and also give you a pretty damn good poem, if I may say so myself. We're finally embracing being a poet on here. The conservative poet is becoming a poet. Imagine that. I'll see you next time.